Hi Earthlings. Okay, so on the 21st of January, Pluto and our Sun will step together into the 0 point inside the house of Aquarius. So Pluto is all about our soul expansion, and our Sun is the father of all soul, of every earthling, and also the soul of our earth, and they're moving together at the same time. So there's a merging of energies. Now, so at the recent new moon, which was 7 days ago, we had Lucius, who is the measurer of the thread of our destiny at the north node of destiny. That is in the zodiacal house of Aries, the house of I am. So during the new moon, which is the 3 days of no moon seen, during the period before we saw the new moon, the 3 days of no moon seen, when our sun and our moon were traveling together in the sky like this, and then the moon separates slowly from the sun, and the sun sets first, and then we start to have our moon rise, and then over to the east for the full moon. So in that time of concentration, I called it our climb. So our climb, we've got 2 full moons coming up in Capricorn this year. It's a very big thing with the rising up to our, I forgot the word, our plateau. So this is the day of this is the year. Now, So the thread of our destiny has already begun, because when the new moon happened, Lucius was at the north node of destiny. So the thread of our destiny has already begun to be woven into our life story. It has begun. Now, the cosmos is in preparation for the year of the wood dragon, which we know his name is Dam. And the dam is an artificial lake in a river that changes the movement of the waters. So the dam is the dirt, the rock, and the sticks, and the reservoir is the body of water that is contained within the dam. In 1992, building began on the Odelate Dam in Portugal, Odelate, and when completed in 1998, the changes in the movement of the river created the blue dragon, which astonished everyone. You can look that up on the internet. This year of the wood dragon is all about our earthworks. Okay, so Capricorn is also the plateau. Remember, the plateau is where people built their castles on and things like this. This is a very important year for us. So it's about conforming the environment to the living water. Water is wisdom, Sophia, I shared that with you, Proverbs 8. And water is healing, and to conform means to abide by, to go along with, to adapt to. Right. When our Sun and Pluto enter the house of Aquarius at the 0 point, on the opposing axis, we have Achilles entering the zodiacal house of Leo at the 0 point. So Achilles' name is a combination of Akos, meaning distress, pain, sorrow, grief, and Lares, meaning people, soldiers, nation. The proto form Achilles means the grief or distress of the people. So Achilles was quite lethal in the Trojan War. And that war is the war that burned quite a few areas around the Mediterranean, the Greece, the Italy, the Lebanese, the Turkey, and it ended the Bronze Age. It was the final of the Bronze Age after that, and if there's such a thing as a reboot, that was definitely one. Now, interestingly, I found that Achilles had a muster of soldiers that he called the corpse. So, did you hear the double meaning when I said that word? Achilles was sent to live with Chiron, the centaur, as a child. His name at the time was Allegoron when he was a child, and he received the name Achilles from Chiron, the wounded healer, who was the great medicine alchemist in herb lore. So Chiron is in Aries, and the nodes of destiny will pass Chiron, and the nodes will have an interaction. It is coming not too far away. Anyway, Achilles was called an Argonaut. Now, many years ago, I had a dream. The fairies came to me and they told me that the Argonauts had ruined everything. And I was like, what is the Argonauts? And at the time I was living in the forest. It was a very ancient forest, and we didn't have a library there, so I wasn't even able to look it up. But I hadn't studied Greek mythology at all back in those days when I was just a young lady. And nevertheless, I now know what an Argonaut is, and you can read many stories about Achilles on the internet and things like that, so nobody's at a loss. The main point is that we are not going to follow the ways of Achilles. Now, Achilles is opposing the sun and Pluto, right? They're in opposition, the house of Leo, the house of Aquarius, and we are not going to follow what Achilles did. So, because we're going to end the Kali Yuga, and the ways of Achilles is not our answer. So we might feel the energy because it already exists. It is one of the waves of energy that is already here, because it's manifested. It had a reality and it manifested in these, when you drop a pebble in the water, you get all those ripples. That's what I'm talking about. So anyway, Pluto is about the metamorphosis of our soul's needs. Our soul needs, our heart desires, our ego wants. Now, Pluto is the force of evolution and the catalyst for our deepest emotional transformation. The intentions that drive our choices and the reason behind our current incarnation and our soul's evolutionary needs. So Aquarius is a fixed air sign, and to me, that means pressure, air pressure. So fixed air is, air pressure, the compressor, things like this. And so the house of Aquarius to me means the house of pressure. Pluto isn't fully in the house of Aquarius yet, because he will RX and turn back and go into the house of Capricorn one last time in September this year until November the 19th, 2024. So our dragon year has pressure added to it because of Pluto shifting houses. Okay, so he's entering now, and then he'll come back into Capricorn, and then he'll enter again for the last time in November, the 19th of November, and then he'll do his duration, which I think is 18 years, but I can't be sure just yet. Okay, so Pluto is the god of wealth in the afterlife, the bestower of wealth, the great benefactor of the inhabitants in the afterlife. Okay, remember, we all go to the underworld for our judgment. The feather of Ma'at is weighed against our heart. Our heart is our conscience. And, we're telling the truth, are you of good conscience? It's going to get weighed. If it turns out that the heart is unbalanced, then it gets eaten by Sobek. Osiris is the one that does the judging anyway, so that goes down. Anubis is the one who puts our heart on the scales. Our heart gets a chance to talk because our soul and our spirit both there as well, and it says that the heart accuses the spirit, like, I couldn't do it because my spirit was depressed, and therefore, I've explained this in another video. Now, now remember, the other thing I want you all to remember is the afterlife is where we want to go. Now, I've tried to explain this before. I'm sorry that it's about death, but everything at this time through this eclipse cycle is about death. And we all go to the underworld, and our desire is to get through the path and make it to the afterlife. That's for our spirit, because the other side, that's where the demons are. And so there's a very, very clear distinction between the other side and the afterlife. The other side is not where we want to go. That is Samuel, who Lilith eloped with. He was an angel, but he's the angel of death. He's also the creator of war. He invented the knife, things like this. And Lilith obviously had a child. She was an earthling, and she had a child, probably at least one, but probably more. She's the queen of the demons, and the demons, because the giants are half immortal and half earthling mortal. Some of them got to ascend, but some of them didn't get to ascend. And so when they died, they went to the other side, because there's something different about them. They're part earthling, but they're part gods. Okay? So they're not titans. They are the offspring from fallen angels and earthlings. The fallen angels, of course, like to call themselves gods and want us to worship them. And I've got a funny idea. Zeus is a fallen angel, okay, guys? And that is my little update for now. So we're coming up soon in the first quarter moon, and that is on the 21st of January. So on the 21st of January, we're actually going to notice, we should be able to, there will be a need, a soul need, something our soul needs in this lifetime. We will find that it's going to be about it's the reason that we're here. So let me go back up here. The intentions that drive our choices, the reason behind our current incarnation. Okay, so we should get an insight of what that is on the 21st of January, when the Sun and Pluto are at the 0 point in the zodiacal house of Aquarius. And of course the next day the Sun moves to the next degree, but Pluto will remain at the 0 point for a time. Then he will do some movements, and then of course he will RX, go backwards again and into the house of Capricorn, and then the final stationing direct, and then move forward into the house of Aquarius, where he'll be for the next, I think it's 14 or 18 years. So we've got some time. But this is all the preludes for the Year of the Dragon, which will begin, oh gosh, I think it's the 10th of February. I really got to figure that out. So it's the new moon in February. Okay, so when the new moon in Aquarius happens in Feb, that is when we begin. Anyway, ka kite, much love to everyone.